Hello. So for some reason the viewer counter isn't quite working. Or at least it's a bit laggy, to be honest. Oh, as you can see down there in the purple box with the text there, you can just send me a friend request. This is my exact PSN, as you know. As long as you got PlayStation Plus, you're able to join. Mainly because they just, as literally every platform now, they've decided to start doing that. You have to pay to play online. With a few exceptions, of course. Except for Xbox. I do have a second screen on hand, which is quite handy because if I leave this screen for a bit too long, it doesn't quite like it, and it decides to end the stream. I've had that happen to me a few times before. Yep. Now, hopefully it should work. And the only thing I really have a problem with streaming on this platform, it has much better quality, but at some points it can get a bit laggy and blurry. But the other problem is the text capping. It doesn't quite cap off text. So if someone puts in a really long message, it doesn't quite cut it off. It just, like, it does cut it off at a certain point, but it doesn't quite, like, it just looks really weird. Me neither. I'm more of a YouTube streamer, shall I put it? Oh, you've got to be kidding me. And I think the funny thing is that this channel, it's almost, I know it's over half a year old. Once it hits around, I think it's June, July, somewhere where school ends, somewhere around there, it'll become a year old, which then will mark the, my 1 year on YouTube, being a YouTube creator. Just as a fun fact for those who decide to watch it over or are currently watching. One rule I do want to put out in the open for right now, though, unless I have it turned off, which I believe I do. Yeah, I don't know how to turn it off or on or whatever. If anyone's got a mic, please don't use it. There have been so many times where I've been like on the PS3 and Wii U where I've streamed Minecraft, the audio just gets all laggy and distorted, and then it just decides to cut it off, and it just gets me completely off track and all that. Though I do have to admit, it is quite nice in the fact that it doesn't quite happen as often on this platform. Perfect. If I could get out of here. If you can't hear me, feel free to explore and even lend a hand on building this place up. I should probably start making a ton of beds. Maybe even build like a communal bedroom area? I don't know. Another rule I'd like to set, please just don't leave singular blocks. If you're going to cut down a tree, cut the whole thing down, otherwise it just floats there. Which I've had so many players that have done that in previous streams and on other platforms where it just gets on your nerves so badly. Maybe what we should do is start using books and quills. That way we can chat with each other. Oh, hold on. You can send me an invite to one. Just, I kinda don't really, want to go off this screen for too long. Otherwise it doesn't quite like it and just may end the stream. Yeah. Am I able to create parties? I don't think so. I might be able to create one on the PS Vita. I'll go AFK for a small second. I'll switch this off so that you don't hear all the rumbling and rummaging around and stuff. Hold on. Hold on. I really hope it doesn't decide to mess around and end the stream when I do this. I just really hope. Okay. There we are. Now, I'm really hoping. Okay, party. Sorry about all the slur and all that. You seem to be around the same age as myself. I recognize the voice tone as well. And honestly, I really don't care about mic quality. To be honest, I have had so many different people there. I've had people with really bad mic quality where it's all just static and all that. And then I've had people where they have really good mic quality where it's like, it's crystal clear. Yeah. I think the funny thing is because I've pretty much played this game growing up. I've played so many different versions. I've had one where there was like no carpet whatsoever, and it was just wool blocks for carpeting with quotations, and of course we've got this one, and then so many different versions trying to keep track of them. Including all the glitches that I've found over the years. Patches and all that. I think one of my favorite ones that I believe still works to this day and in this version is a duplication glitch, which is quite handy, which really only works with certain ones that can be crafted into blocks and back. Being like iron or all those ores, slime balls even, which is quite handy. And I think the really funny thing is that pretty much every time I ever play Minecraft with a lot of people and servers, especially on the PS3, because back then I would have so many players that would join my game, it would just start to lag out. Not helping the fact that I was streaming on a phone which is also using the internet, and some would have mics, some wouldn't, and it would get even worse because there would be people that would just leave trees like half cut with a block missing or stuff like that. And then I would have people that would be making houses that are like just a box with a door. No shape or any detail to it really, other than just a door or torch. Maybe a smaller detail on the inside, but other than that, like nothing. And then the funny thing is that I may be a console player and even a mobile player for Minecraft, and I watch pretty much a lot of PC Minecraft players. And I've learned so many tips and tricks from them. I don't even use I actually use classic crafting. Yep. Feel free to build anything that you want or need in here. Just be wary of space and all that. Because, well, space is limited, as everyone knows. There's even an interesting thing which I've figured out in latest versions that have been coming out for the PS4 version, possibly even the PS3 version, and versions that actually have the aquatic update. Due to a change in water physics and lighting when you enter water, if you go into third person mode and you're just sticking out in the water, if your camera is still above the water, you not only get a slight bit of night vision, you also can see underwater somewhat to a certain length. Just be wary of your breath meter, as they call it, or at least yeah, I call it a breath meter. I really don't know what to call it. I do have a pair of my own. I have a lot of iron anyway. I think I started this yesterday, maybe? Maybe even the day before. I went on a huge mining trip. I have over a stack of iron. Not even with duplicating anything either. I was just mining them pretty much the whole time. And I think the funny thing is I actually finished this only today. It's pretty much, before this, it was just a small shack with a small cobblestone pillar. Then it was just a bare bones 2-wall, no roof. And then it finally became half of its potential, I believe. But this is so far from done. I've got so many plans for it. I think the nice thing is just taking inspiration from other people and what they do. Which is probably one other reason why I have so many different applications like Amino, Discord, obviously YouTube and all that. I think the most annoying version that I actually quite enjoyed for a long time until they stopped bringing updates to it was the Wii U version, because pretty much everyone has the main controller to it called the gamepad, which has a built-in microphone. And that can be extremely problematic for online games like Minecraft, for obvious reasons, plus the fact it was also quite laggy, which didn't help. One thing that I've also been a bit annoyed with the Pocket Edition version, I don't know about like the PC version because it's too laggy on my PC to actually work. But I find that the interface and pretty much everything, like interface sensitivity and actual in-game sensitivity with the controller hooked up to my phone while I play Minecraft on there, it's just way too low and it's really slow, or at least to myself, because I have my sensitivity on both all the way up, and I actually started doing that thanks to a mobile Fortnite player back in the day. Ever since then, pretty much everything I've been doing, my sensitivity's been all the way up. I'd say I'm decent. One of the players that actually kind of introduced me to the content making world. Just a fun fact for everyone. Aiden Gaming 693, I believe his username is on YouTube. He was the one that kind of introduced me to it. But I joined him in a game of Fortnite. My sister and I joined him together. She plays on Nintendo Switch, keep in mind. We were getting him so mad. He was like, "I hate you guys." And like, I wouldn't really say he's bad, but I know I'm probably pointing a lot of fingers, but he's actually, I'm not saying he's bad, but I'm not saying he's good at the same time. But we just kept sniping him. It was quite fun, to be honest. Yeah. One thing I used to do back in the day, one of my favorite weapons used to be the suppressed pistol. It's still pretty good in my eyes, but one thing I just, to be honest, do not understand, like, the Mega Knife size might be really good on the Golden Scar being like the Golden Assault Rifle. I find the actual best assault rifle would be the heavy assault rifle because it actually does more damage. Yes, it may have a small, like, whatever. There always has to be a payment, being like, if it's got a much larger ammo capacity, there's got to be something that, like, brings it down, being like less damage. But if it has a smaller, for a few exceptions though, it really depends on which one you're better with. But in my eyes, it's really which one does more damage. I think the funny thing is that back in the day, I used to have to do many challenges, a few being in like squad challenges, and normally I don't play up with too many people. I usually have to put mine on private and have it so that there I can invite people in order for them to join. Otherwise, back in the day, it would just get completely nuts. I still play it. I just haven't touched it in a small little while. Not too long though. I think I played it a few days ago. I can't quite remember though. Well, as everything, it takes practice. I think the funny thing is that I still have the same skill level, or a little bit of a higher skill level, but only because I practice so much. Like, I have the Season 7 Battle Pass. I barely scraped by getting the last tier on it. And, yeah. I also have the Season 8 Battle Pass as well, which is quite nice. To be honest, I really don't care if you've got the Battle Pass or not. Honestly, I really don't care, because you could be like the best player and you're still a default, but you can also be the worst player and you've got literally everything. I think the funny thing, one of my little sayings I used to say is, quote unquote, I'm just a pro without a skin. Which, that I kind of use to keep my hopes up, because yes, they may have a better skill level than I do, but I'm still really good compared to other people. I think the funny thing is that I've played with many of my classmates and they're all salty and they're pretty bad. Because they kill you, they're like, oh my god, I'm the best player in the world. You start beating them, they're like, "Oh my God, you're so bad. You're just doing that because you're cheating and hacking." Honestly, and then I've got other people that are online. They're like, "You're like one of the best players I know." I actually do not have many wins. I only got one, which was from a small scrape by thanks to one of my squad fills that I had to play with once. I think I was just either doing challenges or I was just maybe just playing it for fun. And that, oddly enough, was actually in this season, Season 8. I've been playing ever since Season 3. It took me 5 seasons just to get a win. Sure, actually. Even though I rarely ever get any viewers, I do still enjoy streaming. Which, I think the one main reason, which I've figured out myself quite easily, is that I find it just much more easier because I can see live reactions rather than having them in the comments and all that. Plus, it's much easier because I don't have to do that much editing. I just press share and start streaming. Hmm. Yeah. I think one of the nice things, because I play so many other games like Far Cry and even Splatoon and Splatoon 2, which is quite handy as well, I am actually quite good with sniping, just not aiming, because I go with a weapon that really doesn't require that much aiming. Bit of an odd question to ask right now. What other games do you have on here, as a matter of fact? One interesting one you might want to check out, which is actually quite fun to be honest, since I've actually played the fourth one, Far Cry 5. And a little fun fact about it, the whole single player, well, the whole campaign to go through the whole game, it's actually playable online, which is quite nice. I think the funny thing, speaking of it, in the fourth game I took out pretty much every outpost with a bow. Once I took out an outpost with an elephant. Like honestly, I wonder how the NPCs actually do manage to take things over. Unless it's just because the other NPCs are just like, okay, we'll give it to you, and we'll just be all scared. Hmm? Oh yeah, they do. As long as you leave the one block on the bottom, they always do grow back, almost like sugarcane, which I find quite interesting. If you ever need to store anything, as you saw back there, there are some chests back here. Which, one of my visions that I've had was kind of having a mix, but kind of a mix between like kind of like a strip mine going downward, but also having it, like, having chests along the wall, and just going down. Oh my god. I remember once, speaking of bamboo, my sister and I play Animal Crossing. She once planted one single thing of bamboo. Just a few, like, maybe a few months later, almost her whole town was covered in bamboo. It was almost like an infestation. Pretty much. like, it is quite nice to be a streamer. Hmm? Oh gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I think the funny thing is when, like, you get one of those lobbies or squad fills in Fortnite, and or even when you like play with friends being like your classmates, and you are apparently bad at the game, you're a noob in quotations, and meanwhile they're sitting there, they're just like one of the worst players. Like, yes, I may not have any wins, but I still have pretty good aim anyway.